Well, bowling fans, thanks for joining us today for New Berlin Bowl. With me today from Albrecht's Spare Time Pro Shop here inside New Berlin Bowl, Dwight Albrecht. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Phil, for having me.
Yeah, we gave Joey, he's a busy summer guy. We gave him the day off. Dwight's going to help me with the commentary on the show. And I'll tell you what, the High Five Gear Classic, High Five Gear, great looking shirts. And I'll tell you what, we got some great looking bowlers on the lanes, and they had 12 games of tough competition out there before they made the TV show.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. It was very demanding. 6 games of a shorter pattern, 34 feet, 6 games of the long pattern, 45 feet. Not a lot of miss right, not a lot of miss left. Had to make really good shots and use proper equipment.
Yeah, we took the top 4 bowlers in the boys and girls divisions, paired them up. We've got some doubles action for you coming up for New Berlin Bowl. Make sure you stay tuned. Dwight and I'll be back with that in just a couple of minutes. High Five Gear, custom bowling and sports apparel as unique as you are. The only limitation is your imagination. HighFiveGear.com. I have a lot of viewers that ask me, why do you have so many of your tournaments at Castle Lanes? Well, Castle Lanes is a center that has an exceptional atmosphere. The charm of being in a Northwoods cabin while you bowl, an attentive staff on the lanes and in the lounge, all the big screen TVs and a free Wi-Fi hotspot, and being named in Bowler's Journal as one of the 95 places to bowl before you die, you have to bowl at Castle Lanes. That's why we love Castle Lanes, and you will too. The High Five Gear Classic opening match from New Berlin Bowl, and Dwight, we've got a pretty interesting matchup here. We've got a brother and a sister, but not on the same team.
How awkward is that, Phil?
We've got Riley Smith, one half of the Smith family, teamed up with Amanda Garavet, and that team will be leading off here on lane 23 in New Berlin Bowl, and Riley starting on that short pattern.
And playing the outside, trying to play outside line, and bad break there, really nice Wally, and didn't get the 7 to go, but again, just a lot of speed, a lot of turn, and that's what you see from today's youth.
Yep. And you'll see a big difference between the way the two lanes play. Lane 23 is a short pattern, 34 feet in length. Lane 24 is a longer pattern, 45 feet in length. So you'll see different approaches to how they play the lanes, but pretty much everybody's going to have a pretty similar spare game out there.
Yeah, that side angle, camera angle was a great view of Riley. Just great timing and great balance at the finish. Kept his head very stable and level. What we're looking for as coaches.
Now making her second TV appearance, Rochelle Smith, Riley's sister, but they're not on the same team. Rochelle teamed up with Cody Ramsden. Rochelle on that 45-foot pattern, playing it relatively deep and gets a huge break to trip to 4.
Nice little trip there, playing a very direct line, which is what you want to do when you're on a flat, oilier pattern. 5-step game and approach, nice rotation on the ball. You can see that she wears that glove to give her wrist a little support. Awesome.
Now coming up next, making his second TV appearance of the season. You saw him earlier on the Sean Yona Memorial Finals from up in Sheboygan. Cody Ramsden out of Verona, and Cody, pretty powerful game for the young man here.
A little bit on the short on the backswing height, kind of figure eights his hand a little bit during the approach, but again, same MO on a lot of the boys, just a lot of speed and a lot of power to be young and be strong, Phil.
Yes, indeed. And Cody's third actual appearance this year. Forgot he made the triple team challenge up at the Kalahari, and he was on the winning team for that event, and a great cover.
Nice cover there. Straight is straight. Eliminate the lane condition.
Yeah, you see all these players, they have an extra bowling ball in the rack made of just low friction polyester, and they
break
get that
the wrist
ball
and throw it quite a few miles an hour faster, and that's how you do it.
And Amanda Garavet out of Amherst, she's been making her TV shows a lot lately, and she's only 14 years old, Dwight.
A lot of talent here. Going to be great for many, many years to come. Again, her slide ends up a little bit of distance from the foul line, but very, very nice game, and a lot of turn on the ball for a young lady.
A lot of power in a little package Amanda has, and need just a little more power to get that 6 to do some work and kick the 10 out. Takes that wrist device off.
Yep. Usually you can try to soften your speed a little bit when the 10's not finishing, and it looks like that one got away from her. Kicked out of the gutter.
Kicked out of the gutter, so it's an open frame on the score sheet. And that's going to put her team down by 12 turns early. Dwight, we see a lot of the players nowadays, both young men and young women, wearing those wrist devices, wrist supports. If someone's looking to get into one of those for the first time, they should really have someone like you check out their grip and everything after they buy the support, correct?
Well, yeah, it's really interesting as a coach. We great strike there, and he's getting great ball reaction from the outsides. Trips the floor real nice out. As a coach, we would like to see them try to develop strength in their wrist. Myself, I had wrist surgery, so I have to wear a glove. My daughter, as an example, Ashley, she's got a very, very tiny wrist, and she does need the support from the glove and the wrist support. So, I don't know, the jury's out there on should you have it or shouldn't you have it. Bottom line is if it helps get your hand in that proper rotation and maybe alleviates a little bit of the pain or discomfort, that's all a good thing.
Rochelle with a little bit of a tug there and not an easy spare to make, and that one you see too often out here, the 9-10.
Yeah, she's probably would do very good on a drier condition, but definitely she could probably go with a little bit more of a rougher ball for an oilier type of pattern. Just doesn't match the ball speed to the rev rate for that pattern. She'll bowl the best when she's on the drier conditions.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes. I mean, you look at what Cody and Rochelle did in the qualifying rounds, and they both did better on the shorter pattern than the long. Now on the TV show, well, only one of you can bowl on the short pattern, and they made the decision to have Rochelle stay on the long pattern. Cody did pretty well on the short pattern. He was the second overall qualifier this afternoon on the short pattern.
Maybe he had a better look in practice.
And I'm sure ball speed has something to do with it. I mean, Cody does generate a little bit more ball speed than Rochelle does, and
makes sense.
Get the ball to push down lane a little bit further before it picks up friction, and he needed about 8 more feet of push there, I think.
A little bit
with the cross before he crossed over. So,
hey, sometimes crossing over on a tough pattern is a good thing. You end up getting rewarded with the crossover strike more than trying to hit the pocket.
Exactly. He covers that 5-pin nicely, and there's no easy spare out here under the lights. I mean, I'm sure he was probably feeling a little butterflies just on the pressure of nobody misses a 5-pin, and the last thing you want to do is miss it in front of all your family and friends on television.
Absolutely, it's tough enough to bowl qualifying on this type of pattern, and then you got to throw lights into their eyes and face, and you can just imagine how hard that is. But you can tell these kids are used to it, and they've been under this condition already, and the more practice you get under the lights, the better off, more comfortable you get with it.
Amanda just looked like she kind of flipped it out of her hand that time. Looked a little
didn't
quick
catch
off
it
the
all.
thumb.
Yeah, I didn't catch it all, and then Mr. Mark a little bit to the right, and again, obviously on a longer, flatter pattern, anytime that you miss to the right, you're not going to get that recovery.
And not an easy spare here with the 1-2-8-9. You got to basically hit it almost
great.
Just like that.
Great break there, but I just love how level she keeps her head and her shoulders when she lets it go. Just a really good tip for the other viewers to watch and see how quiet she keeps her head and shoulder line when she lets it go. You can't hit what you're aiming at if your head's moving all over the place.
Above180.com, great podcast. I know we gave Joey the telecast off with it being a busy summer for him, and I want to thank you again, Dwight, for sitting in with us today.
Thank you, Phil, for asking. This is just awesome stuff. Riley's just got an absolutely awesome game. Very, very impressed with his game. Everything that, as a coach, we're looking for. You can see the ball tilts up just beautifully before it goes into the pocket. With that type of form and that type of style, he's going to be around for decades to come. Look how quiet he keeps the head and the shoulders and how balanced his shoulders are. Just everything that we're looking for in a coach.
Absolutely great spare to get us in the commercial break on a dead even match. Join Dwight and I back from New Berlin Bowl in just a couple of minutes to finish out the game. Back for the second half of our opening match here in the 2011 High Five Gear Classic from New Berlin Bowl. And Dwight Rochelle Smith looking to keep her team even at least.
Very good timing. Interesting with her backswing. You can see she really bumps it out wide to the right and then tucks it in from the backswing down. Almost tries to do the West Malott figure 8 type of move. And, if you can do it, your accuracy is going to be very good with that.
There's really no such thing as a dead straight arm swing nowadays. The way with bowlers having you're taught to rotate your shoulders, rotate your torso to help you with the swing, as compared to 30 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of the pros are doing that little figure 8 in the backswing or tucking it in from the inside down, and that's what she does. And again, if she makes it work, that's great. That arm and hand will be in a great power position at the release point.
Yeah, and that's one of the beauties about the sport is that there's no cookie cutter way of doing it. Everybody has their own style. and good coaches like you work with a bowler style. You don't try to change them to something they're not, and you mold things together. And we need to mold Cody back into the pocket, I think, because boy, a 3.9 right now in this condition, not easy to shoot at. I'd probably give him about a 70% chance of covering this one.
Yeah, he needs to make a big move after going crossover. I mean, he's got to go at least 6-3 left. We'll see if he gets this railroad or hard and straight, though, right at it. Beautiful cover. Just what you want.
One thing that Cody gets a little underestimated for sometimes is his spare game and grinding it out on tougher conditions. I know he bowls in the Madison area. I know some of the tournaments out that way have gone what the USBC blue conditions, which are much tougher than your house conditions, and it's really helped him focus on his spare game.
Well, after bowling all day on this, and then on top of it bowling on TV, I mean, my goodness, these kids are going to get back to a typical house shot and have the whole lane to miss. Great shot there, just again a little bit soft and left the weak 6 and falls flat in the gutter, just won't come out and kick out the 10.
Yeah, I'm sure she's going to make that adjustment off second frame where she needed about a 50-foot lane to make that 10 pin. So you see she's moved a little farther left and much smoother off the hand.
Yeah, great cover there.
Keeps her team up by 4 pins, getting in there Riley Smith's 7th frame. So yeah, anybody that says these young bowlers aren't athletes out here today, I mean, all you gotta do is look at Riley's resume. State golf tournament. He's a great golfer. He's a great bowler. These kids have already bowled 12 games today before making it on TV. So think about going down to your local bowling center, bowling 12 games, and how do you feel when it's done?
I can barely do 3, Phil, at 50 years old. So to be young again.
Yes, indeed.
But absolutely, you have to be an athlete in this sport to try to throw a 15 or 16-pound ball for as many games as you're doing. And remember, these kids aren't throwing a lot of strikes right now, with as tough as the conditions are. So, I mean, add the math. They're really throwing 2 balls a frame. And did everything right there, but just unfortunately they hooked away, growing cross alley, and that's that drier pattern.
All it takes is that little bit of extra grab on the bottom. You can see that ball didn't miss by more than an inch. But a little unsure on the bottom, you grab it a little bit, and it's just enough to tug it away. And now let's see if Rochelle can get her team back in the lead here. And
oh, nice side angle of her. Bad break. Threw a great shot there.
Yeah, it looked like she just didn't have the revolutions. Yeah, she's talking to everybody back there, and just didn't have the revolutions on the ball. Kind of spun it a little bit. You can see it's a little spinning in the pocket, a lot of deflection, and just couldn't get the setting.
Yeah, like I said, I think she would have been better served being on the shorter pattern, or if she had something that just had a little bit more teeth to the cover stock. Yeah, she kind of spins it or circles it a little bit. Bad break there. Just fell off right before it hit the 7.
I don't think she felt sorry for her brother last frame. I don't think she was giving it back to him. I mean, I know there's love in the Smith family, but not that much. It's winner take all out here.
Absolutely.
See what Cody can do to get his way back for his team. Made that big move like you talked about.
There we go. Well, move in the direction of the ball's mistake, and he did that, and look at the result.
Yeah, just 10 flush back in the pit. You see in the replay here. No doubt when that ball got in the 1-3 pocket.
Yep, absolutely gorgeous roll.
Well, Amanda needs to keep her team in the lead here and see what she can do. 5-step approach. Covers a lot of the approach for being a little short in stature, but she gets that power going, and
wow.
Not gonna
9
knock that
3/4.
pin. Yeah, exactly. That pin needs 8 degrees of tilt to fall over, and it had about, like you said, about 7 3/4 there. And yeah, just kind of blocked by the 6-pin falling over there.
Did.
And no, that can make a pretty big difference in this match because
Important spare here.
Yeah, getting a strike on the board for your partner takes a little pressure off.
The thing, oh, she got it right early. Look out. No friction on the outside boards on this pattern.
Not at all, and that takes them from having a chance to stay within a mark to probably giving up more than that with Riley coming up here in the 9th frame.
Yeah, the thing you're going to notice when you're on tougher, flatter patterns like this, Phil, you're going to see a lot of close matches come down to the 10th frame. Beautiful post. Wow. Wow. I was going to say it went from bad to worse, and then it went great.
Yeah, a lot of emotions in about 2 seconds right there. He's going, it's a great shot. Oh no, not that. Get the 9 out of there at least. And now he has a makeable spare.
He went from, okay, I got a tough split to make, to now I have an open, to, hey, now I'm going to make an easy spare here.
Yeah, and you really got to focus again after that.
There we go.
After missing that 10 from previous, and gets his mind back on it and keeps his team within a mark going into the 10th frame.
Yeah, this is an important, that foundation frame is that 9th frame for the 10th, absolutely.
If Rochelle can strike here, they can expand that lead to 17 pins and pretty much lock up the match, but that's just left in the backswing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't look comfortable on that shot the entire way.
Fell off to the right, and that's what I was talking about with the loopy swings, and once you can get it in the slot, it's going to be great, but if you don't get it in the slot from the backswing down, you're way outside in, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, at least there's no sleeper pin back there. It is just a 3-5-6, so it should be relatively easy for her to cover here.
Great timing, great footwork.
A lot more comfortable looking on that spare attempt than it was in the first ball.
Absolutely. Big spare.
Keeps your team up by 7 pins, and
it's going to come down to who's going to perform in the 10th.
Maximum score here for the Ramsden-Smith team is 180. Maximum score for Smith-Garavette, 173. So a double here would lock it up. And that just bit on him early. It was a hair left, and it's tough playing these 34-foot patterns from that deep unless you make sure you get it right.
Yeah, just maybe a touch slow. Could have missed a mark inside your mark, and then look what happens. You pay the full price.
So
only thing way you can fix this is make this is going to try to knock some of the pins out of the back. With his speed, it might happen. I threw it hard and straight. Just didn't get any help from the pins in the back.
Getting that sliding over sometimes if you leave the 7 pin only with that 6, 9, 10 makes it a little easier to make. Trying to get that pin all the way over to the 4.
Try to ricochet across. Yep. Yeah, just a real bad break at a bad time.
Well, Amanda right now, she's got 2 spares, 2 opens, and she needs a mark here for her team to advance to the semifinal game.
Yeah, you don't think she's feeling any pressure here, Phil?
A little bit.
Oh?
Good. Wow, I thought it was going to hold pocket all the way down.
Yep. It started to fall back a little bit. Well, this is a big spare for this doubles team.
Yeah, I mean, she's missed 2 10 pins so far. Maybe having the 6 pin there will take a little pressure off, and knowing that if she hits the 6, odds are she's going to get the 10 in most cases.
Know my luck, I would chop it.
Let's hope. It's bad enough we got the Phil jinx on it. Let's hope we didn't start a white jinx here. And it's going to be close.
Wow. Exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, how did she get the 10 out on that one?
Yeah, that another maybe inch over with that ball, and it would have been a chop. But covers it nicely, and now she just needs 5 pins. So pretty much just throw it down the middle to go to the next match and take on AJ Johnson and Ashley Vickery. No problem there.
As I said, that crossover is sometimes the best pocket on a tough flat pattern.
161, 155. Riley Smith and Amanda Garavette move on to the semifinal match. And Dwight and I will be back with that from New Berlin Bowl in the 2011 High 5 Gear Classic in just a couple of minutes. High 5 Gear. Custom bowling and sports apparel as unique as you are. The only limitation is your imagination. High5gear.com. All right, bowling fans from New Berlin Bowl, High 5 Gear Classic semifinal match, and Dwight got some good bowlers coming on here with Ashley Vickery and AJ Johnson for that team.
Absolutely, Phil. This ought to be a great match.
Ashley out of Mendota, Illinois. She was the leading qualifier for the girls on the short pattern today.
Great game, Phil. Was commenting to her father during the qualifying that I saw her on TV before in the Dells. Very contemporary. A lot of up-and-coming young girls would want to watch Ashley throw the ball. Just a classic style. Great timing, great balance. All the things that you need to be a great bowler.
Yeah, and this is her 4th U Challenge appearance. She's won a title at the Kalahari before. And with this being our first time here at New Berlin Bowl for a U Challenge event, she worked hard on that short pattern today, and you can see the short pattern got her on that spare attempt, though, Dwight.
Yeah, she throwing a plastic ball at that spare?
She switched to a plastic ball
and
on
it's still
that.
hooked away.
34 feet, and there's 26 feet of friction out there. Absolutely.
And probably not a lot of buildup in the middle.
Absolutely not. Pretty close to flat, about 2-to-1. Definitely sport compliant. And now, who'd have thought we'd see Amanda Garavets still sitting on that long pattern lane? But she did okay the first match. She just had a problem with some spare misses. And that one she just kind of tugged out of her hand.
And she puts as much turn on the ball as maybe some of the boys out there.
Joey always calls her his favorite freshman. 14 years old. She's done a lot this year. Made a couple of Youth Challenge telecasts. Won the Sean Yonan, shooting 240 and 250 to win that prestigious tournament up in the Sheboygan area. And we'll be back there again next year, bringing you the finals of the Sean Yonan one more time. And Keith runs a great tournament for the kids up there, and he's in 2 centers next year. It's getting so big.
And the future will definitely be bright for her.
I like to call him our multi-sport athlete here. Well, I guess you could say both these young men are multi-sport athletes. Riley Smith finished in the top 25 this year at the WIA State Golf Tournament out at University Ridge in Madison, and won himself the Hammer Spring Thaw Shootout back earlier this season. And another kid with a nice young game, Dwight.
Oh, absolutely. Again, if you want to watch a classic style and great form and great balance at the finish, great roll in the ball too. That's definitely all the positions that you need right there, and you can see the heavy forward roll and how it stands up before it hits the pins. Obviously, just a little inside his mark, jumped through the nose, got paid full price. Unfortunately, at New Berlin, even when you hit the pocket, you're not rewarded here.
Yeah, it's been a tough house to carry the last couple of seasons here, but I'll tell you what, the young bowlers today, they know when they go to these other tournaments like Junior Gold and Teen Masters, the spare making game is key, and we're seeing that kind of today already. Now this game, 3 bowlers up and 2 open frames already, and AJ Johnson stepping up here, and another multi-sport athlete.
Power player with a great balance and great form. Boy, going to go far with that style.
Yeah,
and the biggest thing that I see, Phil, is he matches up so well, ball speed to rev rate, and he can play that inside line and get a better look on the inside line maybe than some of the other guys that are out there. So he can play lines that other guys can't play because of his rev rate and his power. But the biggest thing is obviously seen is that matching up ball speed to rev rate, and he definitely does have that.
Switches to that polyester spare ball, going to go cross lane at it, and a gigantic whiff on the bottom there. That's surprising for AJ.
Yeah, you got to go straight. Straight is great for spares. You got to go right at him.
It just looked like it just was off his hand. Maybe a little bit of nerves. I mean, he's made enough shows under the lights, but you never get rid of those, butterflies when you're out there, guaranteed.
Amen. I can relate.
Ashley Vickery looking to bring her team back and get a mark on the board for him. Great post
shot.
On, yeah.
Nice rip the rack. Beautiful shot.
That's the way to bring your team back in the game. They're only down by 6 pins right now, though, because the Garavets Smith team working on Riley's Open after that Greek church. So Amanda, out of Amherst, bowls at Whitetail Lanes up in the Amherst area. High game at 289, high series 749.
The thing I saw that day during qualifying is that there was very little margin of error, especially right. If they got it right, there's no way it was going to come back. If they cut it short, it really took off. And you have to be absolutely perfect on this condition and pattern to get to the pocket on a consistent basis.
I mean, Riley Smith led the boys on the short pattern where they bowled 6 games on just the short pattern earlier today. And he was the only bowler who averaged 200 in the entire center out of over 50 bowlers.
And I love the way she shot that spare. She knew the insides were drier. She avoided the outside oil, went up like 4th arrow for the spare. And that's what you got to do when you're on a very flat pattern.
And as we saw last match, I mean, it's not going to take 190, 200, 210 to win matches out here today. It'll take 170s, 180s, maybe even a 165 or 170 will win.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And Riley made an adjustment off that first shot. I think he just didn't like the reaction he had with that little bit of a tug early, and unfortunately, as you said.
Right, get it a little right, not going to come back.
And I don't care what pattern you're on, shooting this on something that's flat.
Oh, my God. Yep.
I'd say it's about an 80% chance of a spare here for Bowler Riley's talent on a flat pattern like this.
And he's going to hook at it and pays the price. You know, I'm starting to believe that when you get on the tougher patterns, you got to just start using the plastic ball for almost everything. You see the pros do it on TV, and I think we all have to start looking at it. Obviously, the tougher the patterns are going to get, the more straighter you have to go at them and eliminate the lane condition.
And I've heard you talk to young bowlers that are just improving, especially in the high school programs, getting in the 150s and 160s, and already convincing them you need that spare ball.
Absolutely. I just think it's so important. And again, the biggest thing that you see the pros make the changes on is they straighten out the ball, they take the wrist out of it, they increase their speed. They're, again, trying to eliminate the lane condition as much as possible. And great break there, tripping the two forward, and that was a huge double.
Absolutely. I mean, just watch the head pin come back off the wall, kicks
Great
into
break.
the four, and slowly knocks over.
Those are the shots you got to take advantage of.
I think you see those about once a year here at New Berlin.
Doesn't happen often.
The roller two pin. Great post at the line for
Yes.
Ashley, and just tugged it right out of her hand.
Yep. Again, it's just it's kind of like a reverse theory of what you want to typically have your eyes see bowling on a house lead condition. Is when you miss right on a house shot, it's going to come back. When you miss left, it's going to hold. Here, if you miss right, it's no way it's going to come back. And if you miss left, it's not going to hold. So it's just you have to be absolutely perfection out there. Hard way to cover it. There's her pocket shot right there.
She'll have to remember that after we get back from the commercial break. So we're going to go grab a soda real quick. Dwight and I will be back with the second half of this match from New Berlin Bowl in just a couple of minutes. Dwight Albrecht and I are back from the 2011 High Five Gear Classic at New Berlin Bowl. And Dwight, Amanda Garavet looking to get her team back in the action here.
Let's see how she does.
Great, concise little five-step approach, and that's just left out of her hand again. But
Wow. Little fallback. How did that happen?
She found something there that I was very surprised by. I thought that ball was going to go high and
Maybe a little firmer?
a little firmer with the speed, or it came out of it just maybe a little flat. But look at that, just
Yeah.
drove all 10 pins straight back, and
Well,
that's the way to get your team back in the match. They're only down 15 with 5 frames to go, but
maybe you think she found something.
yeah, Riley's got to find something here too, because he's got all or nothing, it seems like, today.
Just classic style, great game. A little right of target. Look what happens again. You know, I mean, with the type of game he has, I just would wonder if he should have target or try to get to the pocket a little bit more from an inside angle, trying to avoid the outside. You know, and most of those tough patterns, 10 and out is usually death. And he's kind of playing that real fine line right around 9-10. And man, I just wonder if he should try to attack it from more of an inside angle. But you know, when you're on, you know, those 10 frames go by real quick, and in Baker it's actually 5.
Yeah, great cover though.
Beautiful.
Gets it all with the ball basically.
See how he covered it though? Straight as straight.
Yeah.
Right at it.
And we've seen Riley play straight before. I mean, when we were up at the Spring Thaw Shootout, it was a pretty hooking lane pattern on older wood lanes, and he can stay on those hooking patterns. And I think that's the main reason why they went with the lane choice that they did for that team. Now with A.J. Johnson here looking to take advantage of his roller 2-pin in the 4th frame.
Great setup. Kind of reminds me of Jack Jurek a little bit in a starting position. Holds it real similar to Jack Jurek, except that's where all the similarities go bye-bye. And he thought it was pretty close and was hoping for it to fall back a little bit. He starts off like Jurek, but turns into like Malott a little bit in the backswing. But just very impressive game. I watched him during qualifying, and wow, just phenomenal, strong youth.
Yeah, and trying to shoot at a 3-9,
Nine.
especially after you whiffed a 3-6 earlier. He's going to stick
Yeah.
with his strike ball.
It's got to be in your psyche.
Looks
Wow,
good.
covered it nice, real nice.
Maybe he made that move off of watching Amanda's shot when she struck and moved in, and it just held firm. Didn't want to go with that roller, you know, go light and maybe leave a roller 2-pin again, and unfortunately for him, it kind of bit high.
Yeah, he played definitely right on that. I think he was deep enough, but that was a beautiful cover on a very tough pattern.
What does Ashley got there for high game and high series on her bio sheet there, Dwight?
She's got high game of 290 and a high series of 720, and with her game, I definitely can believe that. She's started bowling at age 9. Out of the Rockford area, I know they see Tom Carter in Rockford for their equipment. I drilled her sister a ball while she was down here, and equipment was very well laid out and very well drilled for her and her sister, and I was impressed with her game when I saw her at Kalahari, and real impressive when I see her in person. Just great styles, great balance, great positions all the way around.
And that one just hooked out of her hand, and that's going to bring them back to the. Actually, it's going to let Garavet and Smith take the lead by 2 pins, depending on what they do here. And they're half of frame number 7, and Amanda's going to try to fit it in the pocket again, I'm sure, like she did last time in lane 24.
Yeah, the only way you can get comfortable with your eyes and bowling on something like this is to practice it a lot. she's quite a distance from the foul line, I noticed, unless she just is having problems with the TV lights and the sliding. But, man, she's quite a distance from the foul line with her slide. I just picked that up on that shot. And, you know, you watch a lot of the top pros, ladies and men, and, boy, they finish right up by that foul line. And so I don't know, you know, that is that out there in terms of you giving up some accuracy or some consistency by being that far away from the foul line. A lot of steps, though. That's good. That gets her pace going and gets the ball going. So footwork is excellent. And just maybe move up a little bit on the approach.
Covers the spare nicely, makes this match dead even. So
that's going to be a nail biter till the end.
Yeah. Well, Dwight, we got a little break here. Wait for Riley to get up and take his shot. It's beginning of fall bowling season right around the corner. Everybody's going to be dusting off their equipment pretty soon. You got some nice things going on at Spare Time Pro Shop inside New Berlin Bowl, don't you?
Absolutely. Got a great junior program. Oh, great shot there. Look at all that power. And obviously we're going to have specials coming out there for resurfacing and for new ball purchases. And we opened up in January, and we're very proud of the shop. And we've been working real hard, putting a lot of hours in during the week to service the bowlers and long hours late at night. And we're going to try to make it the best we can.
Absolutely. And bowlers, if you're inside New Berlin Bowl in the area, Dwight's open. Check his hours on his website. What's that website address again, Dwight?
It's sparetimebowling.com. So a little wide on that one, Phil, and obviously you can see it's just not going to recover.
Yeah, he's kind of got a little in between there. You got lucky in that roller 2-pin earlier, but now he's gone through the nose and leaving a washout. And
yeah. Very demanding. Very, very demanding. Let's see how he shoots the spare. He's going to go right at it. A little bit, kind of hooked it away. Kind of bad break there, chopping off the back one.
So didn't lose too much in count because they were on an open, only lost a pin, but you're down by 12 pins with 2 frames to go, and it's pretty crucial right
Crunch
now.
Time.
Yeah, Ashley's got to step up on this shot and let the other team know, hey, we're still here. So
this is where every shot counts, and it gets, especially such a close match. Spare shooting is huge, and just hitting that head pin on that first ball is huge. Oh, huge break there. Hey, sometimes the crossover is better than the 1-3 pocket shot, especially on a tougher pattern, because you know what? On the scorekeeper, it all looks the same.
That's right. I've been bowling Thursday night league here during the summer on a Team USA condition league, and I want to thank Kevin Frew for putting that together. But I'll tell you what, it is humbling, and yes, there are some nights like on the Dead Flight US Open pattern, you just take them any way you can get them.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see if Amanda can return the pressure back to the other team, and she's still got that case of the lefts. Mm-hmm. Nice break to kick the 3 out, though.
And typically when I coach, and typically when I see students or bowlers that are quite a distance from the foul line, they tend to want to overthrow that right shoulder, reaching out for the mark, and typically the ball's going to go where the shoulders are pointing, which is typically a little to the left. And maybe she just doesn't want to trust it right because she knows it's not going to come back.
I've seen her. She had trouble in a couple of spare attempts in the first game with right side spares, and it's the same thing. And like you said, she may be having a little problem with her footing out there, Dwight, because I never expect to see Amanda miss 3 spares in a day on single pins, and that's 3 in a game and a half.
And I noticed that she takes off her glove for making her spares, and the jury's out on that one too, because are you making your body feel something different than your primary first ball? It makes sense though, because you want to take your hand out of the shot. This is a real huge 10th frame.
Great shot, just a little high, and he can't rack the 7 out. Wow.
Bad break.
The spare's still huge here. Spare's going to force the other team to mark. If Riley goes spare strike here, that would give his team a 156 game. If AJ goes spare strike, 156. And that needs...
barely got the first important one.
Yeah, so count is
huge.
It's
a huge count, absolutely. This has got to be going through their mind at this point. He's looking at the score. He knows it. Wow, can't get any thinner than that.
It's about 64.5 feet to the back of that lane. It's a good thing it's only that far, because that was kind of a tape measure shot there.
Thank God for level edge boards. Oh, he liked it. Again, just a little to the right, and man, just no margin of error. Boy, he had a nice post there too, Phil.
Absolutely. A 154 game. Well, AJ's got to come through with at least a mark. A strike here would move him on to the final match for sure, but any mark, he needs a spare and a 9 count to move on. And I'll tell you what, watching 2 opens for him so far this game and 2 marks, we're talking 50-50 on this shot.
Wonder if he made any adjustments going into this frame after the last couple. It looks like he moved a little deeper.
And it's still
jumped.
up earlier on him, and I don't think he projected it far enough to the right.
Might not have.
And now you got to be going. That you can't tell me that 360 he completely whiffed earlier. This game isn't toiling in his head a little bit.
Absolutely, and it's going to be interesting to see how he shoots forward.
Stays with the spare ball.
That's great right there. Straight is great.
Perfect.
Even though he had more revs on the spare ball than I do on my first ball.
Yeah, you see, well, that's pretty much 90% of the bowling population out there. Good point.
Yeah.
But
especially when you get my age.
But he slowed down. He had that spare attempt in the second frame, and he just tried to rifle it.
Well,
now he's
9's a winner.
Yeah. Focus.
8's a tie. See what he does here.
If they tie, it's one ball roll off by each member of the team. Total pins will go to the finals.
Good post.
Perfect shot.
Yeah,
wow.
look at that. And he knew it too.
Great.
Looks like he got that one a little farther right, just like you were talking about.
Absolutely. A great finish to this game. Dwight, thanks for sitting in with me.
Thank you, Phil. It was awesome.
We're going to be enjoying back in for the final match. Viewers, stay tuned. Great action again coming to you from New Berlin Bowl. High Five Gear. Custom bowling and sports apparel as unique as you are. The only limitation is your imagination. HighFiveGear.com. Bowling fans, you waited all day for the championship match here at the 2011 High Five Gear Classic. And a righty-lefty team here we got, Dwight, starting with Nicole Kluchin on lane 23.
Yeah, a little, I think, proper strategy here, Phil, having the girl bowl in the drier condition, playing the more down and in. Great strike there. Just beautiful forward roll on the ball from her. That's just smart thinking there.
Absolutely. Good start for that team. And now we're going to see a little change here for the Vickery Johnson team. They talked about before the match, and as a team they wanted AJ to bowl the 10th frame. And since the 10th frame is going to be on the drier pattern, lane 23, they decided to switch it up and move Ashley over to the oily pattern here.
Interesting thinking, interesting strategy, and we'll have to see during the match if it plays out. Obviously, a little early timing on that one, and she closed the right shoulder down and pulled it badly across her mark, leaving herself a tough spare, especially on a tough flat pattern to make, too. Lefty would have an easier chance at this than a righty. Let's see how she covers it.
You want to make sure you get that 8-pin out and back, and to do that, you got to hook the ball.
She tried to do it that way, but chopped it off.
Drew it up right on the board, but just over executed. She made too good of a shot there, Dwight.
No, anytime you leave more than one pin as a spare, you have that chance of the chop.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
But it's the first frame. If you're going to open, in the immortal words of Bull Burton, you want to do it in the first frame.
Yeah, but it's still, you have, especially when your opponent has a strike to start off with, this like as a bowler, now you're already climbing that hill, trying to fight back.
You can see AJ here. He's gone over to that drier pattern. He's actually leaving his wrist a little more open, all the way even into his stance.
Wow.
A great toss to start with, just came up a little bit high.
Drier pattern, Phil, and you can see he's really trying to throw it hard and straight. Just interesting that he's not trying to play more of an inside angle by the third game already, especially under the lights. You would think that the lanes are starting to break down more and more.
Yeah, but with his ball speed, it's real easy.
He can hold the line.
Yeah. I mean, he's well in the 20-mile-an-hour range with that ball speed.
And that is so helpful when trying to continue to play that outside line.
Well, first TV appearance ever for Joe Capera. Saw his brother Dave on the winning team with Cody Ramson up at the Triple Threat Team Shootout up to Kalahari this season. And now each member of the Capera family's got one TV appearance. Let's see if they can make it where they each get one title on their first appearance.
That's awesome. I mean, nothing beats experience on TV. I'm sure that he's probably quite nervous, but comes out with the first shot and just rips the rack. So that will get the nerves out of you right away.
Well, especially with an early 22-pin lead, if Nicole can get one here, that's really going to loosen up the arm swing on both the team members.
Absolutely. Because you know strikes are a premium when you have that flatter, tougher condition.
I want to thank our host center here today, New Berlin Bowl, and Kevin Frew, the bowling center manager here. Looking for a fun place to bowl league this fall, everybody? I'll tell you what, New Berlin Bowl is a lot of fun. They have nice programs for league bowlers here. And of course, if you ever need work done on your bowling ball or you're bowling, Dwight's open during league hours here, so make sure you get a chance to stop in and see him and get those little tweaks to your equipment.
Yeah, I was going to say, Phil, a beautiful center, and now we have a great pro shop here. Not to take any extra kudos for myself, but we're very fortunate and very lucky to be in here, and it's a beautiful setting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they built a nice little addition inside the center for you. Open up the shop, and anything you need bowling-wise, shoes, balls, polishing, cleaning equipment, bags. It's it's all on display at the pro shop here at the Berlin Bowl.
Yeah, we got it all, Phil, and we make a lot happen in a little space. Nice cover there.
Yep.
By Nicole.
Let's see if Ashley can get rid of that first frame jitters here. I think that's all it really was for her, moving over that
Oh, absolutely.
oily pattern.
That's a lot to ask for. You get used to the drier condition, and you get lined up in the drier condition, and then you're asking her now to play the oilier pattern, and she threw a great shot there, and again, bad break off the wall.
Yeah, Carrie's just a little bit tough sometimes on the light hits here at New Berlin Bowl. Well, it's characteristics of the house. We've seen it at a couple of centers that we bowl at where the light hits, you get the pins to scramble and fly around, and it's tough to kick those corners out. Yeah,
definitely the back row here likes to stand. Absolutely. Even when you hit it flush, you're going to tend to leave that cold 8 or cold 9 here. Or have no reason why, but it's just the mystery of the house.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just all of a sudden they'll get a new set of pins in a year or two down the line. All of a sudden the new pins fall over better than the old ones did.
Absolutely.
So.
Just the mysteries of bowling.
Let's see what Captain Grind here, AJ Johnson. There's a pattern out there. He'll grind out on it, and that just crept a little high on him.
Yeah, just no miss area left. Trying to keep that speed up. Man, I don't know, Phil.
I don't think we're going to see too many shots by AJ hang right on lane 23 with as dry as that pattern is.
No. I just don't know. A drier pattern, I would probably try to attack it from more of an inside angle.
And that's a surprise. That's twice today now that AJ's gone behind the 3-pin on a 3-6 combination, and that's going to put his team into a big 35-pin hole after 4 frames.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of catching up to do. Nicole and Joe look like they are on cruise control. Interesting style with Joe, very open with his feet and his stance. Actually, very early timing. Ball's really into the swing. Kind of does the Mika up at the foul line. Ball passes his slide foot while he's sliding. But you know, Phil, he gets it done, and he's got 7 300 games. You know, so the guy knows what he's doing. The big thing is the speed and the rev rate again. That's the bottom line, is that his game matches up real well while the ball's going down the lane. But you know, I mean, people always look at the pros, and if you watch real close, Mika and Wes Malott both have early finish timing, and boy, they get it done.
Yeah, and they're both taller players. Joe, a tall player himself, and
absolutely.
You know, it's the hardest part for tall players if they don't have a lot of knee bend, getting that ball into the lane surface smoothly without a lot of loft or without rainbowing into the lane surface and having it bounce 3 or 4 times down the lane.
Absolutely, what a great point. Yeah, both Mika and Wes are both tall players on the tour.
And Nicole might have to make a little bit of a move here, because that's twice in a row she's gone a little bit high. She was high flush her first frame, and
you know, the biggest thing though, she's filling frames, or at least trying to fill frames, and so spares, 9 spare, I mean, that's important for scoreability. So covering the spares are huge right now.
And that's just dead pull on that 4-pin, and that's not a good way to get into the commercial break, especially when you had a huge lead. It's going to knock it down to 22 pins, and you can join Dwight and I back from the Berlin Bowl for the last half of our championship match in the 2011 High 5 Gear Classic in just a minute. The 2011 High 5 Gear Classic Championship match from New Berlin Bowl. Whitney, Dwight Albrecht, and Dwight, a lot of work here for the Victory Johnson team.
Absolutely, Phil. You know, they got a little bit of a break with Nicole missing that 4-pin, so it kind of opens the door a little bit, see if they can come back. And again, there you see a little bit longer oil pattern. You miss a little to the right, don't have the rev rate. That ball's just not going to make it back.
A big break to not leave the 10 with that in a washout, so this should be a relatively easy spare for her with just letting the ball work its way across those 3 pins.
I think the biggest thing, Phil, is especially in this type of format where you have 2 different lane conditions, I would think that the proper strategy is one of more like Nicole and Joel's. I mean, put the girls that don't have as much hand in that drier condition, put the boys that have more hand in that oilier condition. I just think that the 2 are going to match up better. Yeah. Great cover there, though. That's huge.
Yeah, and it's a tough call, because when AJ and Ashley were talking before the match, you know, Ashley was kind of like, hey, I'm not sure if I want to be the one up if we need something in the 10th.
Right.
You know, and AJ, you know, captain that he is, you know, he wants the pressure. He thrives on that stuff. He said, okay, I'll do it, and it forced the team to move lanes.
Absolutely.
So it was a good play by the team coming on, and a great shot there by AJ.
Yeah, I could have knocked over 20. Power and speed, and that one he got a little bit more right, as you can see, and just perfect 10 back.
Yeah. always nice seeing those close-up replays on how those pins fall and how the ball gets in the pocket. Just like it's coming out of your living room and into the TV set.
The ball does its job. It hits that, those 4 basic pins, and the rest is the domino theory, I call it.
Shredded the rack. So Joe's pretty locked right there and going to maintain that 22-pin lead for his team. And
very impressive. Very, very impressive. Very heavy forward roll on the ball with all that speed, and just absolutely just turns the pins into twigs.
Well, let's see if Nicole can make that move off the last frame where she left that 4-pin, and once again.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yep, and she's trying to play the outside line, which is obviously a very tight line, and anything just to the right of her mark, you obviously are not going to have that hold. So you can see the fairness in the oil patterns from both the left or right hand side. When you're bowling on the sport compliant type of patterns, it is all about shot making.
Yeah, and especially with the number of games these kids bowl, and the way these patterns change as the oil gets moved around the lane. There's really not. I don't hear way the griping out here. And it shows in our TV finals. We don't have lefty-dominated TV finals, or we don't have righty-dominated TV finals. You know, today, seven righties and a lefty.
Yep.
Pretty much the ratio of bowlers we had out here today normally.
Yep. So whoever's going to perform, whoever's got their physical game out there, and whoever makes right ball choices. When she cut short a little bit, you can see she went outside in with her arm swing, and the ball looked like it hooked a little early, and again through the nose. Fortunate not to leave a big split, just leaving the 3-6-10.
Yeah, and it's easy. I mean, we've all been there, bowling in a tournament setting or bowling in a shot that's a little tougher. We don't have the right look, and it's easy to just try to fit it, and you grab it a little bit on the bottom, and it happens to everybody. Geez, summer league here in the Berlin Bowl this year. On some of those flat patterns, it was so easy to just try to force the ball. Absolutely.
When your eyes don't see that recovery to the right, and you don't hold that, have that hold to the left, it is just going to play tricks with your mind that you're just not used to.
Well, AJ's going to try to keep his team in it here. Struck last time on this lane. Big, powerful 5-step approach.
Really threw it hard on that one. Kept the ball on mark.
Dust. There's nothing left but dust to those pins on lane 23 that time. Wow.
I can see why AJ's got 12 300s. I'm kind of surprised he doesn't have more.
I'll tell you what, he's going to McKendree University down in St. Louis this year, and I think he's going to be a great addition to that program down there as a freshman. Let's see what.
Absolutely.
That needs some.
Wow.
Hey, Mom, look what I found.
Little left of his mark.
Yeah, a little. That was about 4 boards, yeah.
Oilier pattern, and he kept his speed up, so he got a little bit of a fallback there, Phil. So I guarantee you that he's probably thanking the bowling gods after that shot.
Oh, he might want to thank Ashley, and he might want to thank Rochelle that's on those lanes, because those young ladies playing a lot deeper probably pushed some of that oil down that held for him.
Absolutely. A little faster ball speed there. And I think
nice.
Absolutely, and beautiful shot, and ripped out the right side of the rack, and that's a huge double, Phil.
That's a 32-pin lead getting into the Victory Johnson half of frame number 9, and boy, they're gonna have to go off the sheet now, because Victory and Johnson, their max score 203. Nicole Kluchin and Joe Capera are at a 190 pace.
This is must strike for Ashley.
And is she gonna roll it? No.
Yeah, and unfortunately just didn't get it come back a little bit from that outside line, outside oil, and not looking good for that doubles team.
Yeah, this one's pretty much over, because if they go spare here and strike out, it's 183 for them. If Nicole, or I should say Joe, if he's up in the 10th frame, if Joe goes 9 miss, it's 192, so this one's pretty much over. Joe just has to stay behind the foul line, regardless of what AJ does here in the 10th frame. But
yeah, Ashley gets a double there. It could have made it interesting, but that was like a must-strike situation.
So AJ Johnson, I know he's always looking for those U-Challenge titles. He's got one under his belt. This is going to be his second place finish.
Just beautiful positions with his body while he's going to the line. That left hand nice and down where the ball's in the backswing. Very similar to what you would see with your Chris Barneses and Tommy Jones of the world. Just a great talent and a great style. This is what young men and young boys that are out there, this is what you want to watch. Love his setup. It looks just like Jack Jurek. Just beautiful positions coming from a coach. Look at that left arm stay down and forward. It really helps the right shoulder open up. Just cut it a little short, missed his mark a little left, but boy, he's just, future is bright.
Yes, indeed. And I'll tell you what, there's no quitting this kid. I mean, there's just, he knows the match was in hand. He could have just went through the motions in the 10th frame, and he tried giving his all to finish out strong and leave a mark. And hey, you never know where you're going to meet your opponents down the road again. He might meet Joey Copera in a tournament next time, and you can go, hey, remember what I did to you in the 10th frame on TV? I'm ready to bowl. So
Absolutely, Phil.
well, this one's in hand. Joe Copera joins his brother Dave, gets his first Youth Challenge title in a team format. We got to get some singles titles under the Copera boys' belts pretty soon.
Nothing better in the world going into the 10th frame and you know the match is in hand and you have your title.
Another good shot. Tried playing that tight hold line again, but just 4-pin high.
Yep. And again, that's the big thing that I saw at Nicole and Joe is they just filled frames and they grounded out on a tough shot on TV, and they're very deserving to win the title. They bowled great. I think their strategy was just really good for the different patterns. And hold it a little bit across his body, and sometimes that's going to happen with that little early timing, but it didn't matter, Phil.
Nope. Match is all set. 192 to 171. Kuchin and Copera take the title. And Dwight and I'll be back to wrap this up from the Berlin Bowl in just a couple of minutes. Barbieres, a Milwaukee institution since 1963. Great Italian food for dine-in or carry-out, and great times for your family and friends. Barbieres, in the heart of South Milwaukee, and near Miller Park on Blue Mound Road. Well, Dwight, great bowling out there today. Spare games are at a premium most of the day, but Nicole and Joey came out that last match and made the right strategy, and all of a sudden the spare game turned into a strike game.
Yeah, that was really smart thinking on their part, Phil. Absolutely great strategy, and let's put the kid with the more hand on the oilier lane condition, and then obviously put Nicole on the drier condition. And being a lefty, she didn't have anyone messing around with her oil pattern, so that was just a smart move.
With that, Joey Copera and Nicole Kluchin win their first Youth Challenge Series titles. I think we'll see them as doubles partners again.
I think so, Phil.
I want to thank my friend Dwight here from Albrecht Spare Time Pro Shop inside New Berlin Bowl. See him for all your bowling needs. For Dwight, I'm Phil. And parents, take your kids bowling. They'll have fun for life. We'll see you again from Guitarmson Recreation Center with our 2011 EFXBowling.com border battle coming up soon.